Alright, we're recording. Alright, so this is my shrine build, the finished product of the shrine character that I've been working on through these past days. I managed to get my chest down to a really low strength requirement. We don't really care about the shrine effect as much, just more about the strength reduction. We did end up getting ourselves a elemental overload scepter and then multi-modding that. Also, we got ourselves a shield that can scorch enemies when you block, which is 10% more damage. So about the same as +1 physical gems shield. Goal is the same. Vermilion ring with strength. Could have been a lot better. Gloves with dex. Strength belt with life and res. Boots with strength. I did end up wanting to get myself shaper boots with 30 to 35% ailment avoiding ailments, to be specific. I did end up anointing arcane swiftness, and I did manage to find a really nice base for my build, since I needed strength and dexterity, and it also needed to be eye level 75, I think, or 80 to hit the items and gems have 11 to 15% reduced attribute requirements, which is really good for like gems. If you're having issues with stats, I'm losing about like 30 dex that I don't have to use, and about another 100 strength. So that allowed me to drop Utmost Might. I did end up getting Path of the Warrior again, but this build has 9.3k HP. It's fairly tanky. We use Shield Charge for Fortify. Damage is not that big of a deal. I did end up changing my pathing just for 5% more HP because we could drop Elemental Overload, but if you don't have the scepter, the Oscillating Scepter, you just path through here 3 points and then grab Elemental Overload, and then you just end up losing a bit of life, which is fine. I did end up taking off Amplify because I noticed that my AoE is already really nice, since we do end up getting 2 shrine effects, Brutal Shrine and Massive Shrine. Brutal Shrine makes you knock back with all your hits and increases your damage, and you get stun duration, which we don't really care about. You have increased life. We get around, I don't know how much life we're getting now, but maybe around 40% ink life, so kind of like a Belly of the Beast. We get area of effect, around 40 AoE too. And size, we don't really care about size because size is just an aesthetic. But we will be running a Hydra just to prove that this build was strong. This build isn't standard because I did end up ripping to Cortex, unfortunately. But it was a fun build, very strong. At first I thought the build was going to be just a meme, but it's honestly, it turned out to be a very powerful build. Probably one of the tankiest builds I've done in the Heist League, Heist Soul Southbound League. We have Frenzy Charges because we have cast 1 damage taken with Tempest Shield and Blood Rage. That way we can get Frenzy Charges and get 3%, or get 12% more damage, 12% more cast speed, which just helps out overall. I'll quickly fight Hydra, a rare map, and then I'll show you the gem sockets, and then what I plan on working on in the future. You could go for cluster jewels if you wanted to too, but it's not a requirement. The only reason why I wanted to go for cluster jewels is to achieve 100% ailment immunity, but unfortunately I couldn't find any elegant form jewels, aka the dodge jewels, in Soul Southbound Heist. Alright, so this will be our Hydra fight. As you can tell, the damage is really nice. We are using Iron Will as our 6th link because we just have a lot of strength. but we don't need to use Iron Will. We could end up using Skitterbots with Enlighten, Herald of Ash, and Zealotry. But yeah, as you can tell, this build is fairly strong. No issues with... Pretty much I could probably face tank most of Hydra's attacks with no damage mods. But passive tree, we are getting Unwavering, getting HP, Strength, Tireless for mana reduction. We ignore most of the stuff right here. We get damage here. Go for Divine Judgment, Devotion, just get more HP. I could technically go for another Jewel Socket if I wanted to, but I don't really care too much. But yeah, so you could go for 8 passive Cluster Jewel with spell damage and roll like Arcane Surge effect and like 10% chance to proc Arcane Surge on hitting a unique monster, and then doubling up just smalls. You don't have to do mediums because the medium ones I checked out weren't really that good, unfortunately, for the build. So you would use 2 dodge clusters at the end of the large and roll Elegant Form for 60% avoid ailments, and then another 20% from Arcane Swiftness. And then eventually you would have Shaper Boots if you were, fortunate enough to get Shaper Boots, and you would have 100% avoid ailment. But yeah, so we pretty much, you could either use wands or scepters, doesn't matter. I just decided to roll this. It's fairly decent. It rolled hybrid spell damage, flat fire spell damage, and then cast speed, which is nice for BV. Our gems in here are Creeping Frost, Flammability, and Wave of Conviction to apply exposure. Apply Flammability, and Creeping Frost is to get the chill. So what I did end up wanting to do is replace Iron Will with the Hypothermia, which would allow Creeping Frost to make it a bit better, just a bit more damage, about 6% I think. And then obviously our mana cost would go up because Iron Will doesn't have a mana cost requirement bonus. We also had multi-mod, trigger a socketed spell when you use a skill, and 65% increased spell damage. So really nice. That trigger a socketed spell when you use a skill is extremely beautiful, extremely good. It's probably one of the best mods out there. I would call it like a T1 mod right there. Spell Cascade with Blade Fall, Unleash, and Combustion. You just want Spell Cascade for level 1. I did end up maybe wanting to get rid of this whole part of the tree, just cutting it off right here, removing the cast speed, the intelligence, the AoE. I feel like the AoE is fine. But yeah, Enduring Cry on left click because we're a Chieftain, and then we can permanently generate endurance charges, which is really nice. Steel Skin on spacebar just to proc, a bit of damage reduction. Second Wind for reducing both the skills cooldown. Our 6th link on Blade Blast is Blade Blast. Inspiration, just to reduce our mana cost. Elemental Focus. Fire Penetration. Control Destruction. And then Iron Will is our 6th. But if you want to use Chill, you use Hypothermia. If you plan on using Creeping Frost in your trigger socketed spell setup. We have Shield Charge with faster attacks. And Fortify. Herald of Ash. Zealotry, Blood Rage, cast when damage taken, and Tempest Shield. But that's pretty much the whole build. That's pretty much all I wanted to do with the build. Just wanted to get Cluster Jewels, maybe for really end game, and Shaper Boots. That's pretty much it though. The build is finalized. If you guys have any questions, like if you do want to end up playing this build that I created with the Blunder Boar and the Ghoul uniques, just hit me up in game. My IGN is Zeph. So if you message me, see, it messages me back. So Zeph with a capital Z. I don't know if it's case specific. But yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up. Either on Twitch or in game, doesn't matter. What I plan on working on next is a solo self-found heist hardcore Blitz Zerker. So we will end up getting Rage, Rite of Ruin, Crave of Slaughter, Flawless Savagery, and Blitz. And I want to see how fast we could get our attack speed up. Also, how strong the build would be. It would be really good with life gain on hit, but I don't think I would end up doing that. Who knows? But this is what I'm currently planning to work on. And there will be 2 clips at the end of this video, which are kind of funny. They're really short, but yeah, the 2 deaths. So I was fighting Cortex. I got killed on my shrine character, and then I got killed on my other character. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. You guys take care. Have a good night or good morning, and bye-bye. What the fuck? No, what? Well, there you go. That was so bugged, man. What the fuck?
Sin surrounds you. Be no more. Cleansing flames.
Ooh.
Feel the pull of the void.
Wait, I got hit by something else. Fuck! I got hit by one of the fucking random fuck things. Fuck!